we all know that Remy was already out here having her little boy toy or whatever friend. He done came out and done said it that they were in a relationship 2 years.
Wow.
So don't look at me and say, oh, you just came and messed up this happy home and stuff like that. Because that's not what happened.
Because that relationship was already over.
Remy Ma just found out a truth so devastating, she couldn't hold back her rage. And who was it directed at? None other than Claressa Shields, the woman she once called a little sister. After months of rumors and whispers, the truth about Papoose's betrayal has exploded online. Now, Remy is on a warpath, and what went down behind the scenes will shake you to your core. There was a time when people used Remy Ma and Papoose's love story as proof that loyalty still existed in the world of hip-hop. When Remy went to prison, it was Papoose who stayed by her side, never wavering. He visited her, waited years for her release, and took care of her son like he was his own. Their story felt like a rare kind of love, strong, unbreakable, built on years of sacrifice. Fans watched their wedding on TV, heard them speak with deep respect about one another, and genuinely believed nothing could come between them. But sometimes the strongest-looking bonds have silent cracks. And in this case, those cracks were slowly growing, even while Remy tried to ignore them. She told herself love would be enough, that Papoose would never step out of line. But love doesn't stop betrayal, and now she's living proof of that. Claressa Shields wasn't just a friend. She was someone Remy believed in, someone she supported publicly and privately. From boxing matches to music award shows, Remy brought her along as family. To fans, it was just another example of Remy lifting up another black woman, giving her a bigger platform. But behind those smiles and staged photos, something else was forming. Papoose and Claressa started spending more time together, first under the excuse of fitness training, then at private dinners, and eventually, through late-night texts and private DMs. Remy never saw it coming. To her, these were two people she loved in different ways. She never imagined they would cross a line that would ruin everything. What looked like harmless jokes and friendly bonding was something much dark. A man who had just been thrown out of paradise. Even Fat Joe, one of Remy's closest allies in the industry, refused to speak publicly about the scandal. That silence said everything. The people closest to Remy were closing ranks. Meanwhile, Claressa tried to carry on like nothing happened, but the tension followed her. Her comments were flooded with snake emojis. Her team stayed quiet, and fans noticed she stopped posting photos of Remy, or even mentioning her name. The internet wasted no time. Fans dove deep, looking for clues that had been hiding in plain sight. Some pulled up old videos from Remy's tour where Papoose wasn't present and Claressa seemed a little too involved. Others started theorizing that the affair had started way earlier than anyone thought, maybe even during Remy's recent legal troubles. TikTok users zoomed in on Claressa's latest photos, saying she looked pregnant. Reddit forums exploded with debate. One user claimed Remy knew all along but stayed quiet to protect her public image. Another said Claressa was just a distraction from deeper problems in the marriage. But one thing was clear. Nobody believed this was just a misunderstanding. The betrayal felt too real, too deep, and too dirty to be anything less than intentional. Now all eyes are on what comes next. Rumors are flying that Remy has already contacted divorce lawyers and is preparing to split from Papoose for good. Claressa, meanwhile, has gone dark on social media. She deleted several pictures, turned off her comments, and canceled 2 appearances. Papoose has vanished completely. No interviews, no apologies, no explanations. Some fans are still holding on to hope that Remy and Pap might work it out, but most believe the damage is too deep. Whispers in the industry say Remy might turn this heartbreak into a lyrical takedown, a diss track that leaves no room for doubt. It wouldn't be the first time she used music to reclaim her power. And if that happens, fans are ready. They want the RA. The truth came out in a way that left no room for denial. Someone close to the couple, who had seen too much and stayed silent too long, finally spilled the truth. They showed Remy messages that couldn't be explained away. Messages between Papoose and Claressa that hinted at intimacy, at trust that went beyond friendship. When Remy confronted Papoose, she expected anger, denial, maybe even lies. But he didn't deny anything. He stayed quiet. And that silence cut deeper than any confession. That was the moment Remy realized she'd lost something she couldn't get back. But it wasn't just Papoose who broke her. When she turned to Claressa for an explanation, Claressa played dumb. She denied everything, acting confused, even insulted. That performance was the final knife in Remy's back. What followed next was pure fire. Behind closed doors, Remy and Claressa had a confrontation so intense that people nearby say it got physical. Security had to step in. Claressa reportedly tried to play the victim again, claiming Papoose told her their marriage was over. That excuse didn't land. Remy exploded. Witnesses say she screamed at Claressa, "I brought you into my home and you stabbed me in the back." All the hurt, betrayal, and anger she'd been holding in came pouring out. The next day, Remy made it clear where she stood. She cut all ties with Claressa, removed her from social media, erased her from upcoming appearances. She wasn't playing games. The war had officially started, and Remy was no longer interested in protecting anyone's image but her own. The fallout happened fast and hit hard. Within hours of the blow-up, people noticed changes. Remy's sister unfollowed Claressa on Instagram and posted cryptic messages about betrayal and fake friends. Papoose's siblings, who were usually vocal online, went completely silent. Claressa got dropped from an event Remy was hosting, and no one gave a reason. Then came the images of Papoose leaving their home with a duffel bag, looking Lee. What would you do if your best friend crossed the line with your partner? Is Remy right to cut both of them off? Or is there more to this story than we know? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This one's going to spark serious debates. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you want updates before they hit the blogs. Because this isn't just drama, this is betrayal, heartbreak, and a storm that's only just begun. Before things got messy between Remy Ma, Papoose, and Claressa Shields, people used to call Remy and Pap the strongest couple in hip-hop. Their love wasn't just something that looked good in pictures or made for a cute post on Instagram. It was deep. It was tested. It was real. They had been through things most people wouldn't survive. And through it all, they stayed together. When Remy went to prison in 2008, a lot of people thought Papoose would move on. That's what most men do, right? But not him. He stood by her side. Through courtrooms, jail visits, and years of waiting, he stayed loyal. That kind of devotion was rare, and people admired them for it. Even the hardest critics had to admit, what they had seemed untouchable. While Remy was behind bars, Pap wasn't just sitting around hoping for her release. He was actively holding it down. He raised her son, made sure her family was okay, and kept her name alive in the rap game. He wore her name on his hat, spoke her name in interviews, and made sure no one forgot her. That kind of love, that kind of loyalty, it made people emotional. And when Remy finally got out in 2014, one of the first things she did was wrap her arms around him and thank him for not giving up on her. That reunion felt like a scene from a movie. People cried. It was powerful. They weren't just lovers, they were survivors, soulmates who had weathered one of the worst storms a couple could face. After her release, their love only got louder. They appeared on shows together, got married on national television, and constantly. Despite the cracks, Remy and Papoose never went public with their problems. They never aired their business online or clapped back at rumors. That's what made what happened next even more shocking. Because when the truth finally started to come out, when whispers turned into evidence and the internet caught fire, it felt like their whole legacy was at risk. People who had once called them goals were now questioning everything. And that's the thing about love stories. The more perfect they look, the more painful it is when they fall apart. Because it's not just about two people anymore. It's about all the people who believed in them, who rooted for them, who needed their story to stay true. What no one really talks about is how hard it is to keep a love going after surviving something like prison. Yeah, the reunion is beautiful, but years of separation can change a person. Remy had grown. Papoose had evolved. They were still in love, but they weren't the same people anymore. Maybe that's where the distance really started. Not with another woman or a secret betrayal, but with time. Time changes things.
I strongly believe that sometimes people need to fight it out. Because talking doesn't do it. Sometimes you can talk. Like if it's certain situations, you could talk to a person. You express how you feel. They express how they feel. And y'all come to a mutual agreement that y'all either don't agree or, you might start seeing it from another person's point of view. When it gets to the level or when you deal with people that, like, sometimes how I used to be, I don't even want to hear that. I don't give a fuck how you felt. I don't care what you thought. What's up? What we doing?
And I'm a trained killer. Literally, like, fuck boxer. I'm a trained killer. So it'll be like, they be talking about these girls, and it's like, I don't do no 30-second fights. 30 seconds? I'm gonna wear your ass out. Listen, you give me 3 minutes with any of them girls.
They also built a blended family that looks solid. Remy had her son from a previous relationship. Papoose had kids from before too. But they made it work. There were birthday parties, cookouts, and holiday photos that showed nothing but unity. Then in 2018, after trying so hard to conceive, Remy gave birth to their daughter, whom they lovingly called the Golden Child. That baby was their miracle. They'd shared the struggle of fertility treatments, the tears of loss, and finally the joy of life. It made fans feel even more connected to them. You weren't just watching celebrities, you were witnessing a real couple's journey. But as perfect as it looked on the outside, something quiet was happening behind the scenes. Little changes, less joint appearances, fewer matching posts. People noticed, but no one wanted to believe it. After all these